wonderful Sunday afternoon in the month of August. I am your host, Alina Chang, and I hope everyone's having an amazing day. We are having the blessings of rain over here in the DMV, but we're enjoying it because we had sunshine yesterday. We need both of them. So I hope whatever the weather is like in your neck of the woods, that you're enjoying life and you're enjoying your empowered value and you're empowering value with it, one individual at a time, because that's what God wants us to do. Again, don't remember to get your Soar Fresh right here. Scan the QR code, go to Fava Group at favorofagreatgod.com and make your purchase of our Soar Fresh, Stay Soar, and enjoy what we do. Enjoy liberating while you hydrate. And that's what we do here at the Fava Group. So don't forget to get yours. Also, Fava Reach right here. Donate to liberate. We have human trafficking victims all over the earth, and there's other organizations, and we're joining with them to help liberate people into their destiny, into their purpose, into everything God has for them. So while you're donating to us, whatever it is, it could be $1, it could be $1 million, it could be $1 billion, we'll take it, and we will help liberate people with it, because it's just that important. It's just that important for people to understand that they have value and they can live out their value in freedom, without permission, because God said so. I always tell people, God said so. That's all you need to know. If he says it, I believe it, and that settles it. And so that's what we do over here, everything we have. And with that being said, FF26 is coming up September 10th, September 12th, and September 13th. And we want you to help us liberate people while we luxuriate. Okay, that's the other one. Luxuriate while you liberate. Okay, that just came to me. Thank God. Okay, so that's what we do. We're going to be liberated in the island of in the land or island of Greece. I guess I'm not sure if it's an island or country. Anyway, the country of Greece, and we'll also be making one day stopover in Madrid, and we will be doing this and luxuriating while we liberate. And what we're doing is we're traveling, but we're not just traveling to travel. We travel to liberate and to come together and pull together founders, artists, leaders, teachers, whatever you may be. And a lot of people like to do the traveling and the luxuriating, but we are challenging you to help us liberate while you luxuriate. Then you can say, well, I didn't just spend my money, I spent it well. Okay. I brought value while I spent my money. But we want you to join us, especially business owners and who are very established. We want the starter up, but the very established ones. You have all your millions and your billions and you're doing all this stuff, but you're trying to find some avenue to give it to help people. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put our minds together, and we're going to come up with this restoration economy that we want to come up with to liberate people. And we want you to join us and partner with us in doing that. And every dime that you give will be an investment into this much needed different way of doing things that we want to do. And so we're going to do it, but we're going to put our minds together and come out with something really good that can help people. And we can put our minds together to create survivor CEOs and to create companies and help these people see that what the devil tried to do to them, now you're going to get some empowerment to turn around and lick the devil for even trying to touch you and trying to get you caught up in prostitution and drug addiction and all this slavery mentality craziness that's going on. The devil should have never touched you. And so we want to help you understand your value so you could turn around and turn that evil around for your good. That's what God wants. And that's what we want to help you do, because some people don't think they can do it. But let me tell you something, you can do it. Many people have done it and many people will do it. And so that's where we're going to put our minds together to help you do and to turn around and not just get liberated, but do it well. Build companies, build people, do what God has called you. Go to school, educate yourself, be the millionaires and the billionaires, whatever God wants you to do, but to do it well. And so we're going to come up with a whole plan, put together our minds together. Well, we have the plan already. We just want to have people come together with us to do it so that we can liberate these people into their destiny. So join us in the land of Greece to help make this possible. Now we're hearing a lot of things, so just always stay tuned to what's going on, because we're hearing a lot of things going on in the world. And if we have any changes because of those things, we want to let you know in advance, so it won't be a situation. So just make sure we're going to always be right here, and we'll come on any time of the day, any day of the week to let you know what's going on. But we're going to plan to do good things with our luxuriation. Okay, if that's a word. Okay. Okay. So FF26 this year, we are getting it done and we're getting it done well. My God. Okay, so just check our website, favorofagreatgod.com. Go to the Fava Festival page and you will see everything there. You have the pricing, you have the breakdown, you have everything. And so you could join us in the land of Greece. OMG. Okay, for today, remember, check out our blog everywhere. Today's going to be kind of more casual. We're going to be trying to get some things in. If you have anything you want to let us know or input you want to make, don't forget to, you can click it and you can add it in the comment section and we'll see those. I think we're trying to do a lot of our chats now, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if I can read them while you send them. But if you do, let us know so we can address every issue as we have a conversation. Okay. But this week on Friday was a good topic: burnout, rebuild. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student, if you're a worker, if you're a parent, if you're a spouse, if you're anything you are, there's that big old situation that shows up now and again that threatens to derail you, and that's burnout. Now, I've never really had a burnout because I am always I always tell people, if you want to keep yourself from being the burnout, stay in the presence of God continuously and have Him replenish you and stay in the Word of God and meditate on His Word. So when you feel that thing coming, you can say, the Lord is my strength. That's why we have that scripture that we have, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's His strength that gives us the boost when we feel a little weak. The Bible says His strength is made perfect in our weakness. And when we understand our need for Him, it gets us to a place where, oh my God, I don't care what I feel. I am not going down because God, you are about to strengthen me. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And that's when the Word of God starts kicking in and giving you that boost that you need to prevent the burnout. So that's why I said we got to take care of ourselves. Staying in the Word takes care of ourselves. That self-help and all that stuff you hear about, the biggest self-help you can do is stay in the presence of God. Stay in your word, stay in prayer, and listen to what God's saying to you and have Him replenish you and pour into you everything you need. But that's what we're talking about this week. And that was such a good topic for me because I was like, burnout, rebuild. How do you rebuild? What happens in that whole burnout situation that people are talking about? And how do we get ourselves, first of all, out of it and then rebuild ourselves if we allow ourselves to get in it? Because sometimes we allow situations to happen to us that we could have a different outcome if we just read a little more, stayed in the word a little more, allowed God to minister to us a little more. But how many of you know that sometimes we make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes, and we get caught up when we shouldn't get caught up, and all that kind of stuff. But it's in our weakness that He makes us strong. Okay, what happened here? Hold on 1 second. Let me get this right back for you guys. It's in our weakness that He makes us strong. Okay, and that's why we continuously stay in the presence daily. Daily. I always tell people, if you don't feel like it's too much for you, know you can say no. There's just two little letters, and sometimes we get scared to say. Say no if you can't do it. Don't push yourself if you know you can't do it. And so that's where we have to be honest with ourselves and take inventory into ourselves and do a self-analysis to see where we're at, especially if you have a company. This is a conversation on sustainable leadership. Okay. And if you check the website, remember, if you go to our website, Favor of a Great God, and you go on the Fava Conversation page, and even on the home page, you'll see right there for this week. And you get the topic, you listen, there's a little podcast we put with it, as well as you can see the written out blog that we have there concerning the topic of the day. So, and then right there in the beginning, it said burnout is not just a human problem. It's a measurable business risk that erodes productivity, inflates costs, damages culture, and impairs long-term competitiveness. Now, a lot of times when we go to the burnouts, we think it's just about us. If you're the person in charge of the business, if you're in your family or whatever it is, you feel it's just about you. I am just tired. I can't do this. And you just break down. And you think if the damage happened is just to you, so why does anybody have to be in your business? No, especially if you own a company, that burnout costs the company and everybody else a whole bunch of money. Because if you burn out, especially if you haven't put in something that's sustainable to scale your business, where your business can run without you, if everything relies on you and you burn out, that company is down for a good situation. Some people never even pick up from the breakout. When you hear people saying they have breakdowns and mental this and mental that, And sometimes they can't even pick up from that. When that business is down, if you haven't put the right people in place or the right systems in place, that whole company is losing money by the hour, by the day. And sometimes when they catch up, some companies don't catch up in time, they go bankrupt because they cannot sustain the loss that they just had. Addressing it requires clear accounting of the losses and a deliberate systemic rebuild. And this whole framework we have here is going to show you how to break down the losses and how to do the rebuild. And sometimes we don't think about that. Like for me, I don't really think about it. I'm just like, well, in the business space, yeah, but in your personal life, you just like, well, I could just do whatever. Don't tell me what to do. If you break down, your family could break down. If you're especially if you're working and you're bringing in income into the family, that's a loss of income. Because some breakdowns, you got to go to a mental institution. Some people break down to the point of where they kill themselves. Some people break down where they kill family members. I mean, breakdown is not a thing that you need to just think is a little thing. No, it could be a big thing. People have broken down and shot up the building, shot up the whole business place. I mean, just done crazy things because they didn't take care of their mental health. They didn't take care of their bodies. And forget the mental. What about the body? Where you get sick and you just break down. Some people die because they didn't put into it. They're working long hours. They're not sleeping. They're not taking their vitamins. They're not exercising. They're not probably going to a therapist or something. Whatever they need to build themselves up, they're not doing it, not eating right. And so when you burnout is a huge thing for some people. And that's why you can't allow it. Okay, I was flip. Okay, that's why we can't allow for it. We have to be in a constant state of how can I replenish myself? How can I take care of myself? So by taking care of myself, I take care of the people I work with. I take care of my family. I take care of my company. So it's not just about you. And we have to think about those things sometimes because sometimes we put it so much about you. Oh, I don't feel that, and don't understand the impact that the lack of you could have on so many things. Okay. Oh, let's go. One, productivity decline. Reduce output per every time you have a burnout. That's what burnout costs. Okay. Productivity decline. Reduced output per employee. Burned out workers produce less, miss deadlines, and deliver lower quality work. And that's true. Next, presenteeism. I've never heard this one. There's a new one. Presenteeism. Employees show up but are less engaged. This often causes more than absenteeism. So they're there, but they're not there. You ever see people like that at work? They're there, but not there. Oh, I just got to be here for the paycheck. And they don't produce. Some of them end up, I don't know what else they do at the job. They do things they're not supposed to do. They're not working diligently. Some of them may be mad because they didn't get what they were supposed to get. And instead of discussing it with their manager superiors, they stay there, they pout, they just do a little bit of work and they leave. And sometimes it's worse than them not being there and you're costing the company money. That's another way. That's one of the main costs of burnout. Okay. Another cost, turnover and replacement costs. Voluntary departures rise. High performer flight is common when burnout is endemic. Voluntary departures rise. People just leave the work. They're not work. They don't feel well. They're not. Some of them are depressed, or they don't feel like working. Just leave the job, and they're high performers. So when they're high performers, they're doing major tasks in the business. If they leave, that's a void you got to fill. And if they don't give you enough notice, you got to fill that thing quick, or somebody's got to double up because you can't afford to lose the position or the impact that they feel, the void that they feel, whatever it is they were doing. I have the word, I can't think. I'm thinking of a word, but it's not coming to me right now. Next, hiring and onboarding costs. When they leave, you got to recruit, you got to interview, you got to sign, you got signing bonuses, you got training, and the ramp time to reach full productivity from the new person that's coming in. All these are costs to the company. Whether you think it or not, that's what you got to think about. That's how when you start analyzing all these and seeing what the cost is, then you can start adding up what the cost of burnout really is. Institutional knowledge loss. Departing employees take tacit knowledge that's costly or impossible to replace, especially if they're very good at what they do. If they leave, that's something hard to replace. You got to now look and find the person A person sometimes has to be two people that have the amount of knowledge, capacity of knowledge, the work ethic that that person who left with endowed or had. Okay, very important. Next, you have increased healthcare and disability costs. Mental health conditions and stress related illnesses raise medical claims and short and long term disability usage. Workers' compensation and higher insurance premiums can follow if chronic stress is linked to workplace factors. So, if you have all these things showing up, the insurance agencies are going to be like, "Ooh, what just happened in your place?" And so now they have to reevaluate how they what the coverage they give to your employees because of what just happened. And then bringing in new people. Sometimes when you bring in new people, the old people had the old plan, the new people coming in, they have a new plan that they have to kick in, and that could be higher based on the year or whatever it's going on with the country or the economy or the health insurance policies or whatever. These are all costs that can be very damaging to a company. Next, reduced innovation and customer impact. Creativity and problem solving drop as cognitive bandwidth shrinks. So, as the people are shrinking, as your cognitive bandwidth is shrinking, because now everybody's like in a space, then your creativity and your problem solving start to drop. You're no longer innovative. You're no longer trying to find what's the best way to do this, or looking at other companies to see how you could do better as a company, or how you can have more innovative ideas. Now everybody's at a space of lull because everything's tight and people are leaving. Things are shrinking. People don't want to think because they're there, but they're not there. It's a problem. Customer experience suffers. Slower responses, lower quality, higher churn, and negative brand reputation. So all these things are going down, the company is suffering, and now your brand is going to suffer. And then everybody's going to build a reputation, negative reputation. So now people are looking at your company like, what happened? Why did the company go down? That's why I tell people to appreciate your team, and your team will appreciate you. If your team's not doing good, they can bring the value down just as well as they can bring the value up. I remember this. So you got to check your team and make sure everything's going well. That's why it's good to do health evaluations on your team, like just at least once or twice a year. Try to see how they're doing, bring them in, have little conversations with them and see, are you doing well? Is there anything we could do to boost your productivity? Do you need a little more training? Do you need to spend more time with a mentor? What can we do to make your experience better? Because if the team does not have a good experience and you just keep going on with your company, when the team starts dragging up, they're going to drag the company down. So it behooves you to take the time to take care of them. That's why you have a lot of companies. I think some of the tech companies in the San Francisco or what they call it, Silicon Valley up there, and they have, I think it's Google or one of them. They said the company has a whole large cafeteria, a whole thing they have just to help people in their mental space. They have these gyms, this amazing gyms they have, and amazing food cafeterias and different experiences they have. So while the people are working, they can go there and get a relief and enjoy themselves to make sure that they're in the right frame of mind to bring productivity to these companies. And they spend huge amounts of money on that. But in the end, it can bring up the value of the company because your workers are happy, your team is happy, and they're working in a healthy space. They give them good therapists to go to, so they can go, and if they feel like they're having a little situation, they can go have a talk with a therapist, and they can give them a good schedule of things to do so that they can get themselves in a good space. So spending money on that may seem a little more than usual, but sometimes that can bring up the value of the company because you bring up the value of your team. Very, very important. Operational inefficiency, more errors. When people have burnout, they're making more errors. They have to do rework, escalation, oversight and remediation consume manager time. Insufficient use of high value staff on low value tasks. Inefficient, not insufficient. Inefficient use of high value staff on low value tasks when teams are understaffed or misprioritized. Never think about it. If you have people just leaving the job space, now you have, and then they're leaving their jobs, their positions are vacant. What they do is vacant. Somebody's got to do it. So before you get new workers, sometimes the high value staff have to leave the stuff they're doing that's probably even more important, or cause the company, bring the company more income or more revenue, they have to leave that now to come do another task and to fill in for a person that left until you get somebody. That is like a misuse of their talents, of their time, but it has to be done. So if you don't, if you, that's another way you can have operational inefficiency. Very important. Next, leadership and cultural decay. Manager burnout cascades. Inefficient management increases stress and disengagement organization wide. Believe me, I've experienced this. If you have some bad managers, because if whatever, if, it may not even be that they're bad managers, just because it's short staffed, then they could be, their patience is worn thin, or they themselves are burning out, right? So you have a bad management situation. So now the stress is high because they can handle their work. They can deal with the staff well. So everything stresses everywhere. People are yelling at each other, doing all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a bad environment, not good for productivity. So that's another thing. If the staff is low, the managers are going to get upset. They're going to get frustrated, and so you're going to have a whole back and forth thing going on, and it's that eventually becomes a toxic environment to work in. Not good. Next, recruitment brand damage. Employer reputation as a burnout culture narrows candidate pools. Nobody's going to want to work for that company. If you have a reputation of being a company where you have a burnout culture and people are getting burnt out because they're working too hard and they're stressed and they're fussing and they're leaving, it's a high turnover rate and all that kind of stuff, nobody wants to work there. So it's going to be hard for you to find good candidates because everybody knows about the company. I think we had a couple of companies who heard about, like, not now, like a few years ago, and people were talking about how you wanted to go there. They had all this stuff, but then people would say, well, there's a high turnover rate. That means something's going on in that company where everybody's just leaving like that. And so they told you, don't go over there because, yeah, you may not be there long or whatever. So that's something you want to be careful of. How to quantify your burnout's cost for your company. Baseline. You have to have baseline measurements. Okay, so baseline. Okay. Baseline measurements. Track absenteeism, turnover rate, time to fill, performance ratings, customer churn, and medical disability claims. Track absenteeism, turnover rate, time to fill, performance ratings, customer churn, and medical or disability claims. That can tell you one of the ways of tracking the cost. What is going to cost you if you have a high burnout in your company? Then use employee surveys, engagement, psychological safety, burnout specific scales like Maslock, I think it's Maslock or Maslock, one of them, Maslock burnout. That's a tool used to measure job burnout. Use those inventory or shorter. Let me read this again. Okay. Use employee surveys like engagement, psychological safety, burnout specific scales like Maslock burnout. Use those inventory or shorter. So you use the surveys, you use inventory or shorter. These are the ways you use. These are the tools you can use to track the burnout costs for your company. When you start adding up all the different psychological things you got to do and what you got to do, and when you use it, the Maslock burnout will tell you how to measure your job burnout. And when you put all these together, you come up with a cost as to how much it will cost when somebody burns out in your company. When you see that, you got to use that now to say, okay, I got to do this to make sure we don't have a burnout. Because if we do a burnout, that's how much it's going to cost us. And so you could see when you have multiple burnouts happening, you could track how that cost is taken away from the revenue you're bringing in the company. Very important. You could do that for your own personal home or probably your organization, whatever, church, whatever. But always check the cost. The cost of that is sometimes so big. Sometimes it may not be as big if you catch it in time. But if you allow that thing to become a culture, it could drag you down as a company. That's why you have to take care of your team. Appreciate your team, and your team will take care of you. Even when sometimes there's some workers who are workaholics and they want to work and they want to keep working hard and hard and harder. And you have to say, let's take some time out. And a lot of companies are doing it, even governmental agencies, even like police departments and stuff are having therapists on hand and demanding, not asking you, demanding that you go to them at least once or twice a year so they can evaluate you and make sure everything's going well with you. Because some people like me, I'm not like people from our culture, because I come from the Caribbean. We don't do a lot of therapy. We don't do a lot of therapy, and you got to be we don't do all that. Like we're just like, now get over it and move on. You know, no, we probably do, but yeah, we don't do all that. And so you might feel some people, they're pushing themselves and they don't think they need it, but they probably do need it. And if you're not like, if you're not like me, who's a believer and who believes in praying and staying in the presence of God, then you just keep on just going, going, going. You're not praying, you're not doing anything. And then you run yourself down and you don't even know you're running down. You don't even understand what's going on with you. And then when you pick yourself up, you just broke down, and some people end up yelling and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And you're like, well, what? Where did that come from? Because you didn't take the time to do your self-analysis. That's why we do our action plans when we do our sessions every Sunday. We do our action plan so you can take inventory into yourself. Is this happening with me? Is this not happening with me? Am I in a happy space? Am I causing a lot of friction? Am I always uptight? All these different things, because if we don't understand it, stress is a silent killer. Stress will bring your bodily organs, put all of them in disarray, and you don't know what's going on. And so you have to take the time to get rid of stress. Take the time to get your mind together. For me, my routine is getting in the presence of God. Before I get in the presence of you or anybody else, I have to say, God, give me what I need to do this. Give me your peace and your joy. Give my mind together. When I start feeling stressed, I close my eyes, I rest, and I stay in the presence. I start praying and I start meditating on God because I feel myself getting overwhelmed. That doesn't have to be too much because I'm pretty good at managing stuff, but some people are not. So if you're not, you need to take the time out to heal yourself. Don't just think about my job. Oh, I got to go to this job. And if I don't do this, I won't make the money or whatever. Yeah, but if you break down and you die, ain't no money coming anyway. It's not going to come. You may want it to come, but if you're broken down and you can't pick yourself up, where is it going to come from? I think we just had an issue of that. One of the, it was I think a vlog or whatever they call themselves. And he just had a major breakdown on the internet. And another thing, let me tell you, okay, anybody listening to me right now, if you have situations going on, I don't care if you're an influencer, if you're high this or high that, don't break down on the internet. Please don't put the camera on when you're doing your stuff. Turn the camera off, go into your quiet space and do what you got to do. But don't come on the internet and start. Yes, some people come on the internet and that's where they want to cuss up a storm. That's when they want to be drunk. That's when they want to be all kinds of stuff. And they're on the internet fumigating everywhere. And with this poor little fella, he was on the internet and he was self-harming. He was in the middle of a suicide situation. Thank God that his viewers were able to think quickly and call the police and send the police to the house. But that's how, when you break down and you just keep going and going and going and not checking yourself, you could do crazy stuff on the internet. I'm like, you're breaking, but I guess in a way it worked out for his good. If he had done it away from the cameras, nobody would have known he would have died because they said he was bleeding. I didn't even see it. They said he was bleeding and everything already. So I'm saying, and had a knife or whatever was going on there. I'm saying, take care of yourself before that happens. I don't care if you lose money, if you lose spouses, if you lose children, if you lose land, it's not worth taking your life. As long as you're alive, there's hope for you and God can bring you out of any situation. So don't let the devil or anybody put you in a space where they feel like you have to take your life. If something is going on a little stressful, take time out, heal yourself, go on a little retreat. If you have a little money, you can take some money, go on a retreat, get yourself together, your mind together. I would admonish anybody, if you're there, get saved, get in the presence of God, because he will tell you and show you things you don't even know to keep you and bring you back to where you should be. But you cannot let the world and all this stuff get you to a space of killing yourself.